These 8 powerful seeds have the potential to brighten your vision even at 100. When included in your daily meals, they don't just protect your eyes, they help them stay sharp, clear, and full of life as the years go on. In today's video, we'll reveal the 8 remarkable seeds that could change the way you see the world literally. So stay with us until the very end, because your eyes deserve this. And before we dive in, take a moment to comment below and tell us, where are you watching from? We'd love to hear from you. Number 1. Flaxseed, a seed that nourishes the retina and eases eye fatigue. There is a common belief that worsening eyesight is just a natural part of aging and that nothing can truly change that course. Many older adults accept the slow decline of their vision as something inevitable, believing that only glasses or medical procedures can help. But this is not entirely true. Science is beginning to show us that the body, even at 60, 70, or beyond, still has remarkable potential for repair when given the right tools, and flaxseed is one of them. Flaxseed, especially when ground fresh and consumed daily, is one of the richest plant sources of alpha-linolenic acid, ALA, a type of omega-3 fatty acid. Once consumed, ALA is converted by the body into DHA, the very same structural fat that makes up nearly 60% of the photoreceptor cells in the retina. When those cells lack DHA, they become fragile, less responsive to light, and more vulnerable to oxidative stress. This is one of the key processes in age-related macular degeneration, a leading cause of vision loss among seniors in the United States. Research published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that older adults who regularly consume diets high in ALA had a 40% reduced risk of developing advanced macular degeneration. This is not just about nutrients, it's about empowering the body's existing intelligence to maintain and restore eye health. From a physiological standpoint, as the body ages, its ability to produce and retain essential fats declines. Combined with oxidative damage and decreased blood flow to the retina, vision begins to blur, night adjustment weakens, and eye fatigue sets in more quickly. Flaxseed works in quiet, consistent ways. It supports microcirculation in the eye, reduces low-grade inflammation, and strengthens the lipid layer of tears, helping reduce dryness and irritation. There's a story from a patient in Ohio, age 68, who started mixing 1 tablespoon of freshly ground flaxseed into a small bowl of unsweetened Greek yogurt every night before bed. Within 6 weeks, she reported not only clearer vision in the morning, but also reduced night glare while driving. Her eye doctor confirmed a minor but noticeable improvement in retinal thickness. This is the kind of change that matters, not dramatic, but steady, safe, and sustainable. For most adults, flaxseed is considered safe when used appropriately. However, because of its effect on blood clotting and hormone-sensitive conditions, personalized medical advice is essential. It's always best to begin with a modest amount, about 1 tablespoon daily, and consult a healthcare provider, especially if taking medications or managing chronic conditions. Start tonight. Place a small jar of freshly ground flaxseed on the kitchen counter. Let it become part of a nightly ritual. In doing so, support the eyes not just as organs, but as the vessels through which life is witnessed, remembered, and fully lived. Number 2. Experience from American seniors, the power of simple daily habits. One man wakes up at 6 a.m., walks slowly to the kitchen, and prepares a bowl of instant oatmeal. No seeds, no thought for nutrition beyond convenience. Another, same age, same state, same weathered hands from years of work, stirs a spoonful of ground flaxseed into kefir, adds a few sunflower seeds, and sits by the window, letting the light warm his eyes while eating slowly and deliberately. Their stories may seem parallel, but the results are vastly different. In over 2 decades working with older adults across the United States, from the dry plains of Kansas to the coastal towns of Maine, a pattern is clear. Those who treat food as medicine, who build small, meaningful rituals around meals, often age with greater clarity, mobility, and joy. The act of adding something as simple as seeds to breakfast isn't about following trends. It's about reclaiming agency in aging, One habit becomes a foundation for better circulation, sharper eyesight, and steadier focus. There was a retired elementary school teacher in Oregon who began integrating a seed mix into her morning oatmeal. Within months, she noticed her eyes adjusted more quickly to changes in light, especially during dusk when she walked her dog. Another senior in Texas, a 74-year-old former truck driver, shared how chewing sesame and pumpkin seeds with his evening salad seemed to help ease eye strain from late-night reading. These may seem like coincidences to some, but layered across hundreds of stories, they become data in motion. This practice aligns with what gerontologists understand about aging. The nervous system, including the optic nerve, becomes increasingly sensitive to oxidative stress. Vision loss often begins not with one dramatic event, but with the silent weakening of microvessels, the very blood highways that deliver oxygen to the eyes. Seeds rich in vitamin E, magnesium, and antioxidants like hemp, sesame, and sunflower support these vessels like scaffolding supports an aging building. The beauty of daily habits is that they do not demand perfection, only presence. In my clinical experience, the seniors who experience the most consistent improvement are not those who chase extreme diets, but those who quietly, respectfully add healing choices into ordinary routines. Each person's path to wellness is unique. What remains universal is the power of repetition. The seeds may differ, the meals may vary, but the principle remains. Small steps, taken daily, add up to transformation. Tomorrow's clarity begins with today's intention. And sometimes, all it takes is remembering to reach for that jar of seeds beside the spoon. Number 3, sesame seeds, a quiet ally for vision and vitality. What does it mean to see clearly, not just with the eyes, but with the heart? As the years pass and the mirror reflects more history than hope, many begin to ask quietly, am I still growing, or merely continuing? Can a body still protect itself after so much time lived? These are not just questions about health, but about purpose. And sometimes the answer begins with something as humble as a seed. Sesame seeds, long revered in both ancient healing traditions and modern nutritional science, offer a powerful yet gentle form of support to aging eyes. Rich in vitamin E, zinc, and a range of lignans and antioxidants, sesame seeds quietly nourish the fine vessels that feed the retina and maintain the clarity of our central vision. In particular, vitamin E, a fat-soluble antioxidant, plays a crucial role in protecting the cells of the macula from oxidative damage, a process that accelerates naturally with age, especially in the presence of chronic stress, poor circulation, or high blood sugar. Scientific studies, including one published in Nutrients Journal in 2019, show that vitamin E, when combined with zinc and other plant compounds, can reduce the risk of macular degeneration progression by up to 25% in adults over 60. But statistics alone do not convey what this truly means. What it means is that a grandmother in North Carolina can continue quilting with precision, that a Vietnam veteran in California can still drive to meet his old friends for breakfast, that the joy of independence remains real. The true magic of sesame seeds is not just nutritional, it's practical. Their mild, nutty flavor blends effortlessly into everyday meals. A teaspoon sprinkled on steamed spinach, a small handful added to homemade crackers, or mixed into a light vinaigrette, creates a habit so subtle it becomes second nature. For many older adults who resist change, sesame offers an entry point. It doesn't require complex preparation, only intention. The aging body becomes more sensitive to both nourishment and neglect. As microvessels lose elasticity and nerves lose speed, even a few missed opportunities can accelerate decline. But the reverse is also true. Small, daily choices made with awareness carry a cumulative strength. In this way, eating sesame seeds is less about preventing disease and more about honoring what still works, what still wants to be cared for. What we choose to feed ourselves is a daily affirmation. I am here. I am still learning. I still matter. And in that quiet space between a spoon and the soul, vision is not just protected. It is restored, not only through clarity of sight, but through clarity of self. Number 4. Hemp seeds, restoring moisture and focus through forgotten fatty acids. According to the National Eye Institute, over 16 million Americans above age 50 are affected by dry eye disease, a condition that silently interferes with daily comfort, reading, screen use, and even sleep. Often dismissed as a minor nuisance, it is in fact a significant contributor to accelerated retinal aging, lens strain, and inflammation of the ocular surface. Dr. Emily Chu of the National Institutes of Health has noted, the small capillaries of the eye are where aging begins, but so can healing. Her insight speaks to an emerging truth in modern geriatric care. The solution to eye dryness may begin not in the pharmacy, but in the pantry. Hemp seeds, though often overlooked, contain a rare fatty acid called gamma-linolenic acid, GLA, essential for maintaining the oily layer of the tear film. Without this layer, tears evaporate too quickly, leading to irritation, burning, and blurred vision. This lipid barrier is especially compromised with age, when the body produces fewer natural oils, and the tiny glands along the eyelid margins begin to slow or clog. A randomized, double-blind study, published in Cornea in 2020, demonstrated that seniors who consumed 1.5 grams of GLA daily for 12 weeks experienced a 46% increase in tear stability and significant reductions in tear stability. Inflammation. Unlike other omega-3 sources, GLA specifically targets meibomian gland dysfunction and surface dryness, two of the most common yet underdiagnosed eye conditions in older adults. One example involved a 72-year-old retired librarian from New Mexico who had struggled with stinging, watery eyes for years. After incorporating 1 tablespoon of hemp seeds into her breakfast smoothie daily, paired with a warm compress before bed, she reported deeper sleep, clearer reading vision, and no longer needed artificial tears multiple times a day. Her case echoes the lived experience of thousands. Hemp seeds are soft, easy to chew, and digestible, even for those with sensitive stomachs or dental issues. No grinding or soaking is required. A tablespoon can be stirred into oatmeal, blended with kefir, or mixed with avocado on toast for a creamy texture. Their mild flavor allows for integration into both sweet and savory meals without altering taste profiles. A suggested evening habit for those with persistent dry eyes: apply a warm compress to the closed eyelids for 5 minutes, followed by a gentle eye massage to stimulate oil flow. Afterward, enjoy a warm drink such as almond milk blended with a teaspoon of hemp seeds and cinnamon. This routine supports not only eye comfort overnight, but also soothes the nervous system and promotes restful sleep. When eyes become dry, tasks, once simple, watching the evening news, knitting, or following a recipe, become frustrating. By nourishing the glands and vessels that keep the eyes moist and resilient, hemp seeds offer more than relief. They restore confidence in small daily joys once taken for granted. Number 5. The importance of chewing slowly, a simple act that deepens absorption and connection. In a sunlit kitchen on the outskirts of Cincinnati, a 7-8-year-old woman sat quietly one morning, staring into her bowl of oatmeal. For years, breakfast had been a hurried habit, something to get through rather than experience. Her husband had passed 5 winters ago, and eating alone had become mechanical. But that morning, something shifted. She decided to slow down. She stirred in her flaxseed, took a deep breath, and began to chew, not out of obligation, but intention. What followed was not dramatic, but quietly life-changing. Within weeks, she noticed her digestion improving. Her eyes no longer burned by late afternoon, and the dull pressure she often felt behind her temples began to ease. Her vision didn't just feel clearer, it felt calmer. As she would later say to her daughter, "I wasn't just feeding my body, I was finally receiving the food." Science gives this simple act a powerful explanation. Chewing is the first and most underestimated step in digestion. For older adults, whose stomach acid, enzymes, and bile production naturally decrease with age, it becomes even more essential. The slower and more thoroughly food is chewed, the more effectively it is mixed with saliva, rich in amylase and lipase, which begins the breakdown of fats and carbohydrates right in the mouth. This is particularly important when eating seeds. Flax, sesame, sunflower, and pumpkin contain eye protective compounds, vitamin E, zinc, omega-3 seconds, and carotenoids, but they are often bound in fibrous walls that must be broken down through chewing or grinding. Without this process, the nutrients pass through the digestive system with minimal absorption, leaving behind their healing potential. A 2021 study published in the Journal of Nutrition, Health, and Aging found that older adults who practiced mindful eating and thorough chewing had significantly higher levels of fat-soluble vitamin absorption, improved glycemic control, and reported fewer symptoms of digestive discomfort and eye strain. Chewing, it turns out, is a doorway to better nutrient delivery, not just to the stomach, but to the eyes, brain, and beyond. Some senior communities now introduce chewing rituals before meals, a moment of pause, a breath, a reminder to eat with presence. A few families even begin dinners with a shared intention to chew slowly, to talk less during bites, and to allow the body to fully receive. Over time, these gentle habits become anchors, restoring not only physical resilience, but emotional grounding. Chewing is not just about eating. It is about returning to the moment, to the senses, to the quiet wisdom of the body. And in that return, something profound happens. Vision is supported not only by vitamins or antioxidants, but by presence, bite by bite, breath by breath. Number 6, reading, writing, and storytelling. How engaging the eyes can protect them. There is a quiet fear that many older adults carry but rarely speak aloud. The fear of losing the ability to see the faces they love, to read the books that shape them, to write their thoughts clearly, or simply to follow the words on a page. This fear is not just about vision, it's about losing connection, losing independence, losing self. And yet, the very acts we are afraid of losing may be part of the solution. Reading, writing, and storytelling are not only cultural treasures, they are neurologically protective. When the eyes are engaged in focused, meaningful activity, they stimulate areas of the brain responsible for coordination, visual tracking, memory, and emotional regulation. In older adults, these activities have been shown to preserve neural pathways that support healthy vision, cognitive resilience, and emotional well-being. A 2022 study published in Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience revealed that seniors who engaged in 30 minutes of reading or writing each day had better contrast sensitivity, stronger visual memory, and slower progression of age-related vision decline. The reason lies in something called visual stimulation reinforcement. When the retina is exposed to purposeful, pattern-based visual input, its neurons remain more active and responsive. It's the difference between a light bulb left burning and one allowed to dim. Consider the example of a 73-year-old retired postmaster in Vermont who began writing letters to his grandchildren each Sunday morning, adding hand-drawn sketches of wildlife around his home. He wasn't just staying connected, he was unknowingly engaging multiple visual and motor systems at once. After a year of this practice, he shared with his optometrist that he could read smaller text with less strain, and even felt more confident navigating uneven sidewalks. Another example is a women's circle in southern Georgia, made up of widows aged 65 to 85, who meet weekly to read aloud from their favorite novels. What began as a social gathering soon became a vision-supporting ritual. Members reported not only a renewed love of language, but sharper eye tracking, less eye dryness, and a noticeable reduction in headaches. These stories remind us that the eyes were never meant to be passive. They were meant to seek, to scan, to create, to connect. Vision is not simply preserved by avoiding strain. It is preserved by inviting purpose. And nothing gives purpose to the eyes like telling a story, reading a poem, or putting pen to paper in the quiet of early morning. For those who fear losing sight, let this be a gentle call. Do not stop using the eyes for what they were made to do. Choose a short passage tonight, write a letter, read a recipe out loud. Trace a memory into a notebook. Let the act of seeing become an act of living, because in using the eyes with intention, the fear of losing them begins to fade. Number 7, gardening and cooking with seeds. How movement and meaning preserve vision. It may come as a surprise, But one of the strongest predictors of visual resilience in older adults is not just what's eaten, but how it's grown and prepared. A 2021 meta-analysis from the Lancet Healthy Longevity revealed a striking finding. Seniors who engage regularly in hands-on, purposeful activities like gardening and cooking experience up to a 30% slower decline in visual acuity compared to those who do not. The connection isn't merely nutritional, it's deeply neurological and emotional. This may seem counterintuitive. After all, gardening is not a treatment, and stirring a bowl of oatmeal is not a medical intervention. Yet both engage the sensory system in powerful ways, especially when seeds are involved. From planting pumpkin seeds into warm soil to grinding flaxseed into a morning smoothie, these actions create an immersive experience where sight, touch, movement, and meaning converge. That multisensory engagement stimulates the occipital cortex, strengthens eye-hand coordination, and supports dopamine regulation, which affects not only vision, but motivation and focus. In a senior living community in Colorado, residents were invited to care for a small herb and seed garden just outside the dining hall. Each morning, participants would water chia plants, harvest fennel blossoms, or clip sprigs of basil. Within 3 months, occupational therapists observed a noticeable improvement in balance, mood, and fine motor control factors directly tied to visual spatial awareness. One participant, a 9-year-old former woodworker, shared that he felt more awake behind the eyes and had fewer dizzy spells while walking outdoors. Similarly, a group of older adults in Maryland began gathering weekly to prepare seed-based meals together: chia pudding, pumpkin seed granola, flax-crusted salmon. These weren't gourmet chefs, but ordinary people rediscovering a relationship with food and their senses. As one woman explained, measuring, stirring, seeing the colors, it feels like I'm lighting up from the inside. That light is not just metaphorical. The brain, when engaged in novel, tactile, visually rewarding tasks, activates repair pathways that support long-term retinal health. Gardening and cooking are also powerful emotional balancers. They ground attention, reduce anxiety, and offer a sense of control, especially important for older adults navigating unpredictable health conditions. And seeds, in their very nature, symbolize potential. Planting them becomes a gesture of hope. Eating them becomes an act of care. The path to clearer sight may not lie in doing less, but in doing more with attention, with hands, and with heart. Vision, after all, is not just about preserving what remains. It's about awakening what still thrives. So dig, mix, plant, stir. Let the eyes follow the hands. Let meaning be the medicine. Number 8, the power of repetition. Why one simple habit can shape the future of your vision. If just one spoonful a day could preserve your eyesight, would it be worth it even if you couldn't see the results right away? It's a curious question, and for many, it leads to hesitation. In a world conditioned to expect fast results, especially in health, the idea that something so small and so slow could shape the future feels almost too simple to be true. Yet science and lived experience both say otherwise. The human body, especially in older age, does not respond to single dramatic gestures, but to quiet, repeated care. The eyes, with their delicate papillaries and constantly renewing cells, thrive on consistency. Just as daily brushing preserves teeth or walking protects joints, daily nutrition repeated faithfully nourishes the inner structures of the eyes over time. This principle has been seen in longitudinal studies, including one published in JAMA Ophthalmology in 2018, where adults over 60 who consistently consumed a nutrient-dense breakfast, particularly rich in omega-3 seconds, lutein, and zinc, showed a 34% slower rate of decline in retinal thickness compared to those with irregular dietary patterns. What made the difference wasn't a single food, but the steadiness of the habit. A retired mail carrier from Pennsylvania began each morning with the same routine: half a cup of Greek yogurt, a tablespoon of ground flaxseed, soaked chia, and a dash of sunflower seeds. He didn't notice much at first, but after several months his optometrist noted improved retinal density. Even more surprising to him, He was reading fine print on medication bottles again without holding them at arm's length. I didn't feel younger, he said, but I felt sharper. The truth is, transformation rarely announces itself. It arrives quietly through fewer moments of squinting, less eye strain during evening news, more ease reading in dim light. These are the rewards of routine, not revolution. And for seniors, this realization can be profoundly empowering. Health doesn't have to be complicated. It has to be consistent. The brain loves patterns. The body responds to rhythm. And the eyes, perhaps more than any other organ, benefit from rituals, those calming, predictable acts that send a message. I am still caring, still hoping, still showing up for myself. One spoonful, each day, perhaps not miraculous on its own, but together, over weeks and months, it becomes a message etched into the body's memory. Protect, preserve, strengthen. That is the promise of repetition. Not loud, not fast, but deeply faithful, just like the human spirit. Sometimes we accept blurry vision as a normal part of aging, but what if that's not the full story? What if your eyes are simply missing the care they quietly deserve? I want to tell you something I've seen again and again. The body, even at 60 or 80, still listens when we speak kindly to it, especially through what we feed it. These 8 tiny seeds may seem small, but inside them is the power to nourish your eyes, protect your retinas, and restore a kind of clarity you thought was lost. Not just clarity of sight, but clarity of self. The most inspiring seniors I've ever met weren't perfect. They were curious. They asked, "What can I still do to take care of me?" And they did it one spoonful at a time. That's not just healthy aging. That's resilience. That's love. So if you've watched this far, I believe something in you is ready, not just to protect your vision, but to reclaim it. And that, my friend, is a beautiful thing. If this video offered you something meaningful, whether it sparked a new thought, lifted your spirit, or simply reminded you that your health still matters, we encourage you to pass it along to someone you care about. A small message like this might make a big difference in someone's day, or even their life. And if this happens to be your first time on our channel, or you haven't subscribed yet, we'd be honored to welcome you into our growing community. Here, we believe that everyday choices, guided by wisdom and kindness, can lead to a longer, richer, and more joyful life, no matter your age. There's so much more to come. Practical tips, heartfelt stories, and uplifting guidance made especially for you. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's ahead. We're walking this path together. We'd also love to hear your voice. Leave a comment below, whether it's your thoughts, your journey, or a memory this video brought up. Your words might be exactly what someone else needs to hear to begin their own journey toward better health and deeper meaning. Until next time, take care of yourself, hold on to hope, and remember you're not alone. We're right here with you.